Hey everybody, welcome to blah blah. Hey everyone, welcome to bonus content. I'm here. Scott's not here. Wow.
We just wish Scott was here.
We just wish I thought by saying Scott's here, it would make him here.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's typically what happens.
Nabshin's here. Tony's here. Um, Tony, how's your week, man? You texted me yesterday
Yeah, I had a week.
in a fury.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I felt in the moment.
Okay.
But for some backstory, like I recorded the podcast from a different computer last week because I had lent my tower PC to a friend who needed to use it for a video project. He needed a computer that he could edit quickly on.
Okay.
So I let him borrow this is like a huge thing for me, right? I let him borrow my like $3,000 tower PC to do this for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he had it for a while, and during that time, I was using my MacBook, which I had to get back, which I was loaning to my mom because her laptop or her like half desktop, half laptop conversion HP nonsense was acting up and not connecting to the internet. So while I was fixing that for her, she was using my MacBook. I had to get that back, so I fixed her laptop, so I had my MacBook back. When I got it back from her, I did an update from whatever version it was on to Mac OS X Mojave. And after that update, my HDMI port on the side of my MacBook stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
So not having my PC anymore and the HDMI out on my MacBook not working, I then no longer had access to using any of my monitors.
Yeah.
With my computer. So while I was already like not able to do things efficiently because I was using a decent MacBook Pro, but not good enough for most things. Like I could play League of Legends, but that's it. And it would be really slow at doing it. Not only that, but I had to do it on a very, very small screen. So that was awful. And so I went through like 2 weeks of doing that, of using that. And then I got my tower PC back yesterday. So that was nice. I'm like, great. I've been dealing with these small screens and all this bullshit. I just want to have my PC back. My friend used it. It was fine. No problems or anything. Never had problems with the PC before. So anyway, I hook it back up and start it, and it runs and everything's fine. But the pump for the liquid AIO cooler was making this fucking crazy noise for like 3 minutes after I started it.
It was pumping, I imagine.
It was pumping, dude. And then it stopped making the noise, and I was like, okay. Then the computer started acting unstable, so I did a restart, and I got a CPU over temperature error.
Nice.
Which means that it could mean a number of things, but given the situation, I kind of quickly honed in on it being that the pump in my liquid AIO failed.
Mm-hmm.
Which it definitely did. And that was when I was like, I was pulling my shit apart, figuring out what the problem was with it, and then realizing that now after this like 3 weeks of not having a PC, I get my PC back and then immediately it breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pissed.
I can tell.
And trying to figure out how to come up with a solution for that. And that wasn't yet when I texted you about it. So I kind of like diagnosed the whole problem, figured out what I was going to do, and then I was like, okay, great. Also, by the way, when you look up the liquid AIO I had, which is the NZXT, whatever the fuck it is, Kraken X62 280 millimeter liquid AIO, that specific AIO from NZXT has pump issues like no other, apparently. Like the pumps just fail, or like all of them do, pretty much. Which I didn't know when I bought it, almost 2 years ago. Luckily, the warranty period is 2 years. So I opened like an RMA ticket with NZXT, but they won't get back to me until at least Monday. So, I'm sitting here on a Friday night at like 10 p.m. like, fuck.
Just trying to party. Yeah.
This doesn't work. And I have to wait till Monday even to hear back to start this RMA process that's going to take like a month. Plus, so then I start looking, okay, great. I got to do something in the meantime. I at least have to get a cheap cooler and test it to make sure that that's the only problem. Because the thing that was like gnawing at the back of my head and making me really fucking frustrated is that when that CPU like heat issue happened, it was happening already before I restarted the machine, which is why the machine was unstable because the pump had failed. It wasn't cooling the cooler anymore. So, the core is running at almost 100 degrees Celsius, which is really not good.
Yeah.
they should run at like 30 to 40 to 50, depending on your your settings and stuff. But 100 degrees is like the maximum allowed running temperature of those things before things can start to go seriously wrong. So yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm like, great. I'm glad that I decided to do a restart because it was acting weird. Because otherwise, I might have just let it run for a while and completely destroyed. And I wasn't able to troubleshoot it very much because I don't have another cooler to throw on there. So I turned it on, look in the BIOS, and it showed me like that the core temperature is like 89, 90, 89, 90 degrees Celsius. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna turn this off and hope that there's no damage done to this $700 processor. Completely due to a pump failure that apparently happens to all these things. So I was fucking super worried about that. So anyway, I formulate this plan or start to. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go buy like one of just an air cooler. I know some pretty decent ones that only cost like 30, 40 bucks. I can try and buy one of those and just install that and see if that works. And if that works, then we're okay. I'll just let it go through the whole RMA process and then we'll go from there. And so I look around, and the only place that has a suitable cooler that could work for a longer than couple days period of time on my tower is the Best Buy in White Marsh, which for me is like an hour drive each way. So I had to buy this thing. I bought this thing at like 1 a.m. because they had only one left in stock. And I couldn't get anything shipped to me from Amazon or anything like that because it's fucking Christmas season. So I'd look at, shipping, like they would ship me this thing for $15 or $23 cooler or whatever. So you'll see it on December 21st. I'm like, man, this is the word. So anyway, I buy this thing on the Best Buy website. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this tomorrow, buy a couple, basically take apart my whole system, re-put it back together, and make sure everything's okay. And so anyway, I was really frustrated about all that, and that's what I was saying. I was fucking pissed.
I understand. Mostly
so. that was like right before I came up with my solution too. So I was like, okay. So anyway, today I get up at like 8 o'clock, and I get in the car and I drive all the way from my house to White Marsh. It's a fucking hour drive, and I get to the Best Buy and I buy like not their brand, but like decent thermal compound to replace the really good stuff that I had, but I didn't keep the leftover. I got lost when I moved like 2 times. And some compressed air to like de-dust it since it had been a while since I did. Came home, basically did fucking electronic surgery, took apart the whole thing, or things that needed to be taken apart. And I got a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo Black Edition, which is a really good yeah, right.
Sounds like a Dragon Ball character.
Yeah, because it said Black Edition. It's actually like a really like highly rated, like a contact radiator. Basically, it's not a liquid cooling, but it just sits on the thing and wicks air away through heat tubes and then pushes air through a radiator to push the air off of it. Anyway, it's really highly rated one, and it was only like 30 bucks. So buying that plus a couple other things and the gas to go both ways, I spent like $80. And so I was like, okay, that's $80 to maybe get a fix working in this thing while I wait for my $150 AIO liquid cooler to get fixed. So anyway, I installed it, and luckily that was the whole issue. Immediately after letting it idle, the temperature's sitting out at like 30 degrees, which is normal. And actually pretty good. Right now, let's see, I'm at like 40 degrees on each of 4 cores. So it's actually working very well, which is nice. So, and there was no major damage to anything else, and the heat didn't fuck with the CPU, which is what I was really worried about.
Yeah.
And it works well enough that I can use it until the liquid cooler is fixed. Yeah. So anyway, it ended up not being so bad. But
you texted me at 11:18 last night saying, "Boy, I hope you're ready for Salty Tony tomorrow."
That was because at that point, I didn't think that this was going to be fixed yet.
Yeah.
I assumed that I was going to be waiting for like a week at least to know what was going to happen with it. And it would just be sitting there. But yeah, so anyway, I was able to just fix it. And I'm glad that happened. It kind of makes me wonder, like, if someone, ran into that kind of issue that didn't know as much about computers, or like didn't build their own or know what to do, what happens to them?
Yeah. Right. At this point, I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, It doesn't look as cool in the case, which that's kind of it kind of sucks because it's just a giant block right on top of the CPU instead of like a cool little infinity mirror with an LED spinning around in it.
Yeah.
More RGB is always good.
But you'll get back there again.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I don't even.
I was gonna say, are you sure you want to put the same liquid cooler back in the computer?
If they send me back the same one, I'm not going to use it. I'll just keep using this one or whatever. Cause if it continues, but looking at trying to buy those now, there've been 2 major revisions to how they make those things since I bought it almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So if you go to buy it, it's like you could buy the Kraken X62 revision 2. So obviously they had to fix some shit. So if they're just like, yeah, this is broken, we sent you a new, revision 2 one, then I'd probably
the updated one.
Yeah, then I'll use it.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I'm glad it worked out. That's always the concern. Is like, did this break or did multiple things break?
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that is solved, and this goes to a lot of the experience that I had just fixing computers for where I would just get, and I wouldn't even know any information about the computer. They'd be like, hey, this is having this issue. I'd be like, oh, let's find out what one of a million things could be happening to it. So I think that being able to do that is really useful. So I kind of already knew, like, and Scott and I were talking about it, and we were saying like, if it's not the pump, then there's something much worse going on.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of crossing our fingers and hoping that it was just the pump. So
yeah,
it ended up working out, and it's nice to have everything back in working order.
It's nice to have your computer again, I'm sure.
Yeah. My League play has significantly improved. Between playing on the Mac and playing on the PC,
your APM has gone up exponentially.
Not really. It's just that, like,
I know
Mac client has many issues, and that Mac wasn't really powerful enough to play League, which is kind of surprising, but it's
it is a bummer.
So, I mean, it worked, but there's a very massive difference between like 40 FPS and 250 FPS.
Hell yeah. Nabishin, how are you doing, bud? How's your week been?
It's fine. Let's skip it. Let's go to this show.
But like, we didn't talk about your. I know we talked about it before we started, but we didn't talk about your new job.
We totally just did, so we're fine.
I know. I just want to make sure. Put the good vibes out on the internet.
It's good. It's great. I'm happy.
I've been
more
loving,
happy than I've been in a long time. So
that's awesome. That's what I like to hear. But I like to hear that.
I know. I'm trying to get you out the door, sir.
I got you. You want me to see Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah,
and I appreciate
we got an hour and 54 minutes left.
Yeah, we got some video games to talk about. I will ask real quick, the last bonus content thing. I've been appreciating Nabishin your holiday decorations pictures on Instagram. Very good. My roommate decorated our house for Christmas, and it was very sweet. We have little flamingo thistle. Is that the right word? The little like the fake greenery to wrap around something. I don't know. Tinsel maybe?
No, yes. It starts with a G. Garner?
Garner? Yeah, Garner sounds right. We have like flamingo with like Garner with like flamingos, like glittery pink flamingo shapes hanging off of it, which are fun, wrapped around our banister, and then the Christmas tree's up. And we got a new fake Christmas tree versus the one we've used for the last like 5 years, I guess, 4 years. And it's a little bit smaller. It's nicer, I think. It takes up a little less room. And it's funny is he like grabbed it out of the storage closet, and he's like, "Oh, let me grab something to like put under the base of it to catch any like fake bristles that fall off." And he used the Gen 1 version of my green screen. So it's just like this fucking chroma cloth.
Hell yeah.
Sitting under the Christmas tree. I don't think he realized what it was.
You need to put a camera on it and like
crow out the floor
underneath the tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very good. Tony, have you gotten into any holiday decorations or anything?
Hell no.
Hell yeah.
I think me and my brother are gonna fucking decorate. You're crazy.
You're not even gonna do a tree or anything?
Why? Christmas is gonna be at my parents' house.
True, fair. Okay. I just wanted to ask, I'm trying to get in the season. Like I get the where I work, the holidays ruin everything.
Yeah.
So
Nah,
like
see, like
I'm trying to get some like positivity out of the
yeah,
holidays from
me and my
everyone
brother,
else.
like we'll keep shit clean. You know,
Mhm.
like the house is very clean,
It must be
and
nice.
any issues are fixed immediately, and we both pitch in for that.
Mhm.
But if you were to come and be like, hey, Tony and Nick, you guys want to like fucking decorate? We'd be like, fuck you.
Unless we're decorating it with cool CPU coolant.
Um, no, my brother's not really into that.
No. All right.
And
All
I
right.
don't know if you'd want CPU coolant decorating your house. I feel like that would cause some issues.
Be cool LEDs everywhere though.
I feel like you could get cheaper LEDs, and they're called Christmas lights.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Tony. All right, let's start talking about video games. You guys got your Audicities ready? Audicities?
All the cities.
All the cities. Cool. I'm ready to go. Tony, you good?
Yeah.
Cool. On 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry for the brief bonus content, everybody watching. We still love you, I promise. Nicole out there tuning in. Somebody's just gonna jump into the archive of this and be like, "Oh man, I wanted a 45-minute long holiday decorations conversation." I don't know.
Too bad.
Too bad, too slow, so sorry. It is Saturday, December 15th, 2018, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 406. I'm your host, Alex O'Neill, and joining me this week, we have Tony Horvath.
Hello.
And Brian Nabishin Jackson.
Stop calling me.
What is this from?
It's a deep cut. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's from the morning show, and it's a really funny thing that happened.
Okay. I appreciate the deep cuts. We are down to Scott. He let us know he wouldn't be available for a few weeks. We were 1 week longer than expected. It seems like Scott's just trying to get his shit figured out, and that's okay. He's finishing up a semester of school, and also, as he described, he's had his head in a hole, but he spelled hole with a W, so
In a hole.
in a whole business. So hopefully Scott will be back next week for our little holiday special. God, Christmas is like 10 days away. I just realized that.
Yep.
We are in the thick of it. We're in the thick of the end of the year too. Tomorrow, as we kind of get right into the podcast, tomorrow I'm sitting down to record the first episode or the first part of a 4-part Rational Passions editorial Game of the Year conversations. And I just said that out loud and my stomach just churned. Because I feel like we have really good Game of the Year conversations on this show, but the editorial one's going to be, it could be bad. Like there could be yelling and screaming. That could happen. I feel like some of
we're no
us,
stranger to that.
yeah, I mean, it's happened, but I feel like we have gotten to know each other well enough in our conversations that we wouldn't do that at this point. But like this is the first time we're doing an editorial one. It's the first time we've had like a writing team for a whole year that's big enough to do this, and it's gonna be weird. I'm gonna be scared. I'm gonna miss you guys. I feel like I'm gonna try and like make some uneasy alliances. I'm gonna have to. But yeah, we there. I don't know when we're gonna put out we have a promo for that. That's basically like, hey, we're doing I believe 7 categories, and our Game of the Year. We're doing the Game of the Year thing a little bit separately, and there will be 2 Game of the Year shows from Irrational Passions in January. If you want the Irrational Passions podcast, the one that the 4 of us will do, including Scott. You'll get that if you want to hear the editorial side to get kind of like all of their opinions on everything and kind of like their big highlights from the year. We will also have that, and you will have all of that. You'll have so much. We'll be doing kind of like less written stuff. There's not going to be any guest Game of the Year content this year, because we're going to have so much of our own stuff to do. And I know that's a bummer. I put a tweet out the other day. I know it's a bummer for some people that really like to do the guest top tens and the guest written top tens and whatnot. For a lot of folks, that has been a great place to kind of start their creation or writing or video or podcasting journey. Like people like Moises Tavares, like Quentin Hoffman, who now writes for IP. That was like some of the first things they ever did. But I appreciate that. I know it's been very important to people in the past, but we are not doing it this year. I'm sorry for that. I hope you guys will all understand. But we're going to be doing some cool stuff. I was reading through the podcast Game of the Year doc the other day as well, Namashin. It's looking good. I appreciated that you were just like, hey, just send me the best songs.
Dude, like, nah, it's been like I've been doing a lot of that, like as far as this week. So like, yeah, it was like something I just like, man, like nothing really got to me this year as far as music. Obviously, other than like Tetris Effect or stuff like that.
Yeah,
but, like,
I've got some ones that I'm gonna throw in there as well.
That's good.
So,
complete sidebar, but like, how are we as far as like episode releases?
We're behind. My goal right now, because I've just been vacillating back and forth between this and then the writing stuff, is to have.
You're still doing Extra Life too, right?
And Extra Life is pretty much done. All the editing part of that is done, which is great. Huge thank you to Trollware for that.
Yeah, because I knew you had a lot on your plate, so that's why I didn't really want to bring it up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've also like been horribly clinically depressed, and that's no excuse or anything. But my goal is like by the end of the year, once we roll into January, everything will be done and we'll be caught up, and we can hopefully have a better pace going forward. I have to like look at my week and be like, okay, this is going to be the best time for me to edit the podcast, and we might the podcast might start releasing like goal wise. I know it hasn't released for a couple weeks now, but goal wise, it might start releasing on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays, just because that's my day off in the week. So it's easier for me to edit on those days. But yeah, I apologize for being behind on it, but I'm hoping come January, once like all the Game of the Year stuff is posting and publishing, and essentially we can record stuff a little bit ahead of time for that, and then I can get it edited, scheduled, and published. I won't we'll have a couple weeks off. I won't have to. Maybe we'll take a week off from the show or whatever. I'll be all caught up, and then we can be refreshed and jump right into it. I'm also taking a vacation in January that I just got like all the time approved off for all that. I'm really looking forward to it. Of like this thing we've joked about on the show of like Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out and I'm going to take a week off. And I'm just going to use that week to catch up with me, and see how I'm doing, and catch up on some games and just relax.
Staycation.
A staycation. I need a good staycation, I think. So that's right now, that's the goal. I have a couple more episodes of IP edited that have not published yet also. And I'm like backdating them so they are like set to publish to the right date. Just so like if people come in late, everything will be in the right day and whatnot. It's not like all published on January 18th or December 18th or whatever or something. But yeah, I'm working on it. Everything is just pulling me in all different directions, but we're catching up, and we've got a lot of stuff planned for January of like, hey, here are things like editorial wise, like we're going to sit down and have a conversation of like, hey, here are the things that we want to keep doing and here are the things that we don't want to keep doing. Cause we've had Scott and Quinn and Mike, on the team for a whole year now, which is crazy. And stuff like that. So, stay tuned. Everything will be caught up good and done after the holidays. That's my hope. But if you were looking for something to check out this week, some really cool stuff went up this week. The Input folks, specifically George and Logan, they sat down with Geneviève Saint-Onge Miller, and they had her on Input to talk about the big angle for their conversation with her is, how do you sell your game today? Like, how do you get anyone to notice your indie game today? And Jen is a PR representative for independent game developers now. Pop Agenda, which is the company she started with two other folks, is an independent PR agency for indies. And one of the, for example, a big studio they helped earlier this year is the folks what made The Messenger, a game that I really liked. So like they started this as an indie PR company to help other indies. And I think that's really cool. And I've not listened to it yet, but they had a very good conversation, and you should absolutely check it out. On top of that, Mike Burgess wrote and produced a video review of Grease, a game that has been described as a 2D journey in a lot of ways. And like just the way it affected him comes across really clearly in his video. And it's really cool for a lot of reasons. One of which is if you watch this video review and then like watch his Monster Hunter World video review, which he published in January of this year, like his first video review versus his most recent. Even if he it's not out in the public yet, but his Irrational Passions Game of the Year promo video, like he's just come so far and he's done so many amazing things, and he's grown in a lot of really cool ways. And I think like Grease in a lot of ways is representative of that for him. At least like watching that video. So it's a 3.5 minute video review. It's worth looking up and watching no matter what. It is awesome, and I bought Grease the moment I watched the review. He liked it a lot. And there's also a one-off video game book club on Super Hot. Extra Life threw us all off of our game, and we were going to originally sit down with Ori and the Blind Forest, which is now going to be the January book club. And that's going to be a two-parter. It's going to be a little bit shorter. But to kind of make sure we still were putting out book club and talking about it with folks, we did a one-off book club that's just us talking about Super Hot. It's the first one that I'm not on. It's Scott and George, Quinn, and Jarrett. And you should go check it out. It's an hour long. It's a short game too, so you could just play it and then watch and jump right in. So if you've never watched book club or listened to book club before, this is a great place to start. And all that stuff is up right now. You can go listen to it, or watch it, or whatever. And that's irrationalpassion.com. Let's talk about video games. Tony, you've got your computer back.
Yeah.
You talked about it on bonus content. Have you used this computer to play any more video games?
League of Legends.
Still rocking that League of Legends, huh?
I played 2 games of League of Legends, and that's all I had.
Hell yeah. Is that all you played this week?
Yeah.
Really?
It's all I could play on my Mac, so.
I gotcha. I mean, no shame in it. Are you hankering for anything right now? Are you seeking any video games right now?
Stellaris, dude. New expansion came out. I want to play it.
Okay. Cool. I'm excited to report back with more Stellaris.
Yeah, other than that, I've been fucking watching anime. And that's it.
Hell yeah, dude. What about you, Nabishin? Have you played video games?
Just played a few. Just I haven't really had too much time, but other than my devotion to Smash Ultimate, my goal was to actually get through Red Dead Redemption so I can send to my Xbox, and then I just got so into that I kind of just forgot to send my Xbox, but I still need to do that. Also, the Devil May Cry demo came out, and that's also why I didn't send in my Xbox. So
yes, have you played that?
I did.
What do you think? I haven't played it, so.
Real talk, the first time I went through it, I was super disappointed.
Oh no! Okay.
When I first went through it, because it just felt, because it felt weird playing that game after because it's a weird thing, because it's I played through Devil May Cry. Well, I didn't play all the way through the first Devil May Cry this year. But I played like a good amount of it. And, like oh, this is older controls. It's fine. I'm good with it. I'm used to it. So like or it's like one of those things where I have my mindset for the controls for that time, and I don't mind it. It's like when people say Metal Gear Solid controls are bad. It's like no, it's fine. And I can feel how good it is for the time just because I'm playing it for that time, and my mind has that set for it. But playing Devil May Cry 5 at first, it was like why are these controls still so stiff? Why is like mobility still not as good as it should be? Like, cause like from Devil May Cry 4 to Devil May Cry 5, you had like Bloodborne, you had Bayonetta 1 and 2, and you had like even the Darksiders games, and like at first I was feeling like really disappointed as far as like how restricted and stiff it felt at first. Like I said, these are all at first impressions, and like I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it at the time. Though I knew like like everything else about it, like I loved. Like everything about like the aesthetics, the voice acting, the whole look of the game is amazing. And like at first I thought like I thought that like the controls, even though I wouldn't like the controls as much, like I still like enjoy the game in general. But like going through it again, like I did a second playthrough, just to go through it again to see how I would feel about it again. It felt like a lot better.
Okay.
And it is more of this like, oh, it was just like I didn't wrap my mind around it as much. I didn't really read into it too much because like as far as mobility, like this is like the most mobile Devil May Cry there's ever been. Like as far as like dodging is like more of an emphasis than it's ever been before. As far as like you can dodge the last second and like these quick air dodges with the different arms that you can put on. And yeah, that game is like super fun and super good. Like I'm really, really excited for it.
Is
for
it
a lot of reasons.
Really good looking? Because it seems like it's like a really pretty game as well.
Yeah, yes. It's all 4K and HDR and all that other garbage, but like just like aesthetically, because like when you compare to what like Devil May Cry 4 looked like and compared to this, it's like you're obviously going for like a more realistic look for your characters instead of a more anime look. Or like it's like a good mesh of them, I guess you could say, because like it does have a more realistic look in Devil May Cry 5, but like you still see some of the anime in it. But like yeah, aesthetically, I think it looks fucking phenomenal. That game looks so good.
How long is the demo, would you say?
Oh, it's super short. It's like maybe like you can run through that in maybe 10 minutes if you knew everything to do and just run through all the shit.
Okay.
But like if you take your time, it'd probably be like maybe like 30 minutes.
Okay. And you play Nero, I assume it's just Nero.
Yes, it's Nero on that.
Okay. No Dante, no. Do we know this third emo boy's name?
I forget his name. It's like
it's
like,
out there though.
Yeah, it's out there. It's like Sin or Jin or something like that. It's something I can't remember.
Something emo. All right, I'm into it. I'm glad it hit you on the second one, because I feel like there are times like that's been the case. Like when I started going back to Devil May Cry 4 earlier this year, I was like, this feels a lot better than I remember it feeling. And when I replayed through DMC Devil May Cry, like the second playthrough of that, which to be fair was on PS4, so it was at 60 frames per second. I was like, yeah, this is even better than I remember it. And I remember liking it a lot. So I definitely get that.
I think it's mostly to like as far as character action games are concerned, it's like as far as their demos, I should say, like with character action games specifically, like it's meant to be played through the demo multiple times. So like you can get a good grasp of it, you'll find out new combos that you didn't know you could do before. You find out new mechanics that you like try out on the fly, and then like, oh, I can do that, and then like all this other stuff. Like as far as like demos are concerned, like I think character action games should always have one, because like you get the feel for what you like and like what you can learn, and like you can like, and like when it's like you could look up a YouTube video from someone playing the demo, you can see someone doing like a crazy like triple S combo, and like you're like, oh, you just do that just from the demo itself. I can't wait for the full games. I could do even more than that. That's like the biggest selling point for character action games, I feel.
Too, and also like I think you got to know if you're gonna jive with how that game feels, right? Like feeling Devil May Cry. Same is true of like a Bloodborne or a Dark Souls, like down to those kind of like more stiffer character action games. like Bloodborne, I think jives with so many people because of the way it feels. It feels so good, and you can't like. I think there are types of that you can get from watching a trailer, but you're not gonna know until you really put your hands on that game, and that's like the whole game, right? Like it is all about feeling good from front to back, and yeah, like that was like the demo for DMC was the reason I got that game, and I loved it, and it was because like I got a taste of how it felt. I'm like, this plays like I want one of these games to play. So yeah, I'm totally with you. What else have you been playing? It's been 2 weeks. You weren't on last week.
Yeah, I've been mostly working, so I haven't played all that much.
Have you played a game called Super Smash Brothers?
I did. Real quick, you can't trade online through Bloodborne, right?
What do you mean trade?
Direct drop items,
Like,
yeah, you can.
I need that in umbilical cord.
I'm trying to think. Can you drop items for other players, Tony?
I'm pretty sure you can.
Because you might not be able to because that was like really heavily exploited in Dark Souls. I could probably hook you up.
I just need one umbilical cord.
I got like 12
I don't wanna go through
characters
it all over again.
No, I got you. Let's see if we can figure that out. And let me know because
I think my Bloodborne might be the one that doesn't have it, where you can in all the other ones.
yeah, we'll try. Well, I'll do some research and I'll let you know, Nabishan.
Okay.
So you've played Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
What do you think? How are you feeling about Smash Brothers?
I adore Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I like it a great deal.
You went and had a Smash Brothers night with some friends. It sounded like.
I did not because it snowed that day.
Nice, dude. That's right. Yeah, you guys got snow. We did not.
Yeah, it snowed in, and all I did was play Smash Brothers all day, and then I passed out. And when the podcast happened, I was like, "Shit!" And then, like when I woke up, I just played more Smash Brothers, and I got all the characters, and I was happy. So.
Yeah, it sounds like a good day, nonetheless. How do you feel about it? Take me through it. What do you like? What do you don't like?
There's not much I don't like. It's a very too good to be true type of game. Like it's almost like a Portal 2 situation for me, where it's like, oh, this feels like a perfect game in its own way. Like obviously, like people complain about like unlocking characters, which is fine, and people don't like the Spirits mode, which is fine as well. But like as far as like a package for a video game for $60 and then just giving it to you, I think like
it's crazy.
They do a shit ton. They do a shit ton, like for all the modes that they do in Spirit mode and like even classic mode. The effort put into that, yes. I think it's just like that's the thing for me. Where it's like, oh, you did too much, Sakurai. Like this is like so serviceable to me. That's someone who plays by himself for the majority of the time, even though Smash Brothers even though Smash Brothers is primarily like the multiplayer game for me, where I just play with my friends, I haven't actually done that yet. But like, for the fact that like, I actually want to play every single character now. Like,
yes.
You know, like I like in like the Wii U one, like I unlocked them. I don't even know if I even unlocked them. Like I can't remember. But like even the Wii U one, like you know, like I maybe play like Rosalina and Luma, like maybe like once or twice, and that's because they were there on random and like whatever reason, like you know, like I never really like got a chance to get a grasp of the character and I never really had a desire to actually want to play as them. But now, like when I unlock a character, I actually want to play as them. I actually want to see their story mode. I want to see how uniquely their classic mode goes and just see how that turns out. Like for Ryu, for example, like Ryu's like is special because like it's a one-on-one battle with him. It's all Street Fighter music through the entire thing. So it's like when Ryu fights Incineroar, he plays like the Zangief music because like he's close to the Zangief, and like it's all stamina based on those matches. So it's like you know, like you're at 100 HP and you have to go down to 0. So like it's actually like a Street Fighter match.
Yep.
Through that. So I was like, oh, that's just super cool. And it's like super like just there's so much thought into like every aspect in that game. I think it's just like a stellar game.
And it's like because the first one I don't know if you've done Link's classic mode, I knew nothing really going into this game about all the stuff that they were doing with classic mode, because we have like a Slack channel, for a separate channel for just Kingdom Hearts talk that also, because it was Scott, Mike, and I, turned into Smash Brothers talk as well. And they like were talking about it, and they were watching videos a ton before the game came out, but I didn't, and I had no idea going into this. So like Link's classic mode is like buck wild. I didn't know there's like a boss at the end of it that I was like, I didn't know this was in this game. And it's crazy that this is in this game. One that I just did the other night is like Crom's classic mode. Crom's pretty much like my go-to. He's probably my favorite character to play right now, which is not at all what I expected. He's such like a totally weird, different character. But he's great. He feels really great. He feels very unique. And I really liked Roy in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. He was probably my favorite character to play that they added outside of Cloud. And he's just like a mix on that is different enough and has like different kind of aesthetic and feel to his abilities that I like a lot. His classic mode is like you fight Robin at the beginning. Robin's like his companion throughout Fire Emblem Awakening, and then it's all 2v2 matches. Like you'll fight with Lucina, who's Crom's daughter, and all of that is also kind of like a nod to Fire Emblem Awakening, because in that game, you it was the first Fire Emblem game where you could stack units and double up units. So it's like, oh, this is like a cute nod in kind of two ways. So you're fighting with other Fire Emblem characters throughout his classic mode, and it's all 2-on-2 matches. And the final fight is you and Robin against Master Hand and Crazy Hand. It's like, oh, this is like really clever. And it's, for the most part, a little nod, and I bet that's one of like the least involved classic modes, right? And it was still like pretty impressive and really fun, and still different probably than any other classic mode in that game. And that's awesome. Like, I think classic mode used to just be a bunch of random battles, and now it's like so involved in a way that's really, it feels really good. And the best part is all that stuff translates to World of Light, which I don't know how much time you've put into.
A good amount, but not as much as you and Blessing have.
Yeah, I finished it, and which I 100%ed it, which clocked me at 28 hours, which is absurd. And I don't know how much stuff you've seen in World of Light, but you know I'm a sucker for a world map, like an open world map, like a top-down map. And there is more than one of those. Like, they have like little dungeons in that game, and all of them are specific homages to some of the video game franchises featured in Smash Brothers. For example, I think like the first one you can really get to is like a cool little Mega Man one with some Splatoon love thrown in the mix, where you're like fighting a bunch of Mega Man themed battles. And I personally really like World of Light. It, like, just like you were saying, I'm the one dude that predominantly plays Smash Brothers alone, and I feel like I finally have all of this single player Smash Brothers shit that I can do. And all of it is really, really fun for me. It reminds me a lot of Super Smash Bros. Melee in a weird way, where like just the game feels so good that I just like playing it, you know? And that has been a reward in of itself. But yeah, I'm just excited I get to play more. I'm sad that you haven't got to play with anybody else yet.
Well, what happens? Just haven't gotten around to it.
It is the first Smash Brothers game that it's my favorite Smash Brothers. I'll say that right now. I feel comfortable saying that. It's the first one that I've like been like, I want to play with people. Like, I want to play with other people. And you know, there's a little bit of that with Smash Brothers always, but I just never really get it. Like, I'm not huge on it, but we like, I set up a match, they have kind of like an endless battle type thing equivalent to Street Fighter 4, which is like one of my favorite rooms that you can make and people can join you. You can just play Street Fighter right? They have an equivalent of that called Battle Arenas in Smash Bros. I tweeted out last night at like 10:30 p.m. I was like, I get off work at midnight tonight. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna make a battle arena, and I'm gonna play Smash Brothers. And if you're down, let me know right now. And I had like 9 people respond to that. I was like, hell yes. And I made it, and you can like set the max player count to 8, and we had 8 people in there until like 4:00 in the morning. And it was awesome. It was some of the most fun I've had with a multiplayer game all year, and that includes Destiny 2, which is huge for me. And I've had some lag and some latency online, but it has not been terrible by any means. So I know a lot of people have had really shitty experiences, but I've been pretty good so far. So I'm happy to say that much. But yeah, it's awesome, dude. They made a Smash Brothers game. They made a hell of a Smash Brothers game. And what's cool is like we came into this 2018 not even knowing about this game yet. Like that game was announced in like April or May and came out in December. And here we are. And that's awesome. But yeah, I'm glad you're digging it too. It's very good. Who you playing? I know you've been playing everybody, but is there anyone you're favoriting yet?
No, not exactly. I've been all around. Probably the 2 I played the most, like the 2 people I'm most confident is playing as has always been like Bowser and Bayonetta. But like,
fuck yeah, Bowser.
Those like the 2 I usually use.
Okay. I've been playing mostly like when we played online. I would just do random and play whoever. And the thing is, like, there may be a couple of characters I don't like to play. But 2 out of like 74s, I'll take those odds. Yeah, it's great. We're gonna loop back around to this because I do want to kind of get your thoughts on the Game Awards. But Smash Brothers is set to just pretty much get better and better, and that's pretty wild. But yeah, Link, Breath of the Wild Link is the best Link. It's the best version of Link in a Smash Brothers game, I think. Cloud and Chrom, those are probably my top 3 right now. It's nice to have been able to like sit down and put some time into Cloud and kind of really get used to him, as opposed to him just being a DLC character. Cool. What else have you been playing, Namishan?
I'm mostly done with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I concluded the chapter part, and now I'm like on the second part of the epilogue. So like I'm literally just like probably like an hour or 2 away from actually completing that game.
Nice. How many? There are 3 epilogues?
No, there's 2 epilogues. There's 6 chapters and 2 epilogues.
Okay. How do you feel about it now that you have come to its end for the most part? I'm obviously no spoilers, but where is it for you?
Oh, I'm like I said with when Logan was on, I just adored the game. I love that game a lot. In a weird way, like Red Dead Redemption 2, like it's basically like the Crisis Core for it's the Crisis Core for Red Dead Redemption. It's like because it's so weird and different, and it's like and like even like themes and like all this other stuff. It's just like everything is like it's just a weird thing, just playing that game and then like knowing what happens in like the first game, and then it's like and all those payoffs that they give near the end of it, especially during the epilogue stuff. It's just like that stuff just like pays off so well, and it's like it makes me like legit like stoked and happy. Like there's this part where like someone just comes out and like, oh, you're wearing the thing, and it's like, oh, you're wearing the thing, and it's like, yeah, I got so jazzed about it. It was like I felt so good.
I played Kingdom Hearts 0.2. I know how that goes.
Yeah, so it was like yeah, dude, like I like that game a great deal, like a lot, a lot. Like at the same time, like it's probably something I'll never play again. Even though I'm a guy who replays games like a lot, like that's an endurance run, dude. That game is so fucking long. It is so long. And like
Do you think it's too long?
I think it's too long.
Okay.
But like at the same time too, like that game is so like it's so dense and it's so like because like there's Huber said this and I 100% agree with him. Like all the missions are different. There's not an identical mission in that game. Everything is different. Sure, you're doing the same. You might be doing you might all end out in a shootout or whatever, and like that might be like the whole common thing about it. But like every mission is different, and it's so fascinating and so like intriguing. Like everything is different. You're doing something different every single time. Like I heard it like sheep like maybe like 30 hours ago in that game, and like I never did it again. It's something like that. It's just like, oh, I did this. I know this mechanic now, more or less. Like I did it 30 hours ago. I probably don't remember anymore. But like I haven't done it again. And it's just like, oh, everything is different. Nothing is the same. And like even like the mission structure as far as like 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 the biggest complaint about like Red Dead Redemption is just like it's the same thing over and over again when it's just like John Marston, I need you to do this thing. I don't want to. Well, you need to do it. Like, look, I should just shoot you in the head. Well, you can't. So let's do my mission. Like, okay, and that's the mission over and over again.
Yeah,
and it's like this is different because it's like you're playing as Arthur, and like, why am I doing this? Oh, it's for the game. It's like you have your reason, you have your motivation. So it's like, of course, like, you know, like there's no question about it. It's about loyalty. It's about like doing the thing that you're supposed to do to like get to the next point. Even if you're begrudgingly doing it, but you know why you're doing it. So it's like there's no really a question for it. And fucking Dutch, man, that whole arc with Dutch in general, like,
very good.
Man, it's good because like it's so good because it's like Dutch starts out because like you see it because you're seeing it from the eyes from like Arthur and Charles and Lenny and Pearson again, like see that's how good that game is too because like I know all these characters fucking names. Hosea, like I know all these characters names because like I've been around them for so long and like but like Dutch, like you see Dutch at the beginning of that game and you see what kind of man he is at the beginning of that game and you understand why it's like, oh, I'll follow you to like the depths of hell because like you're that guy. But like when you see him by the near end of that game, and it's like I'm not completely done this, I don't know if he'll show up again or not, but like when you see him by the end of that game and it's like you just see him and it's like, why are you doing this? Like this makes no sense. Like you were such a smart charismatic man and you cared about people, and now you're this. Now you transform to this type of person because like all these like you just had like a course of like a bad luck, and like it's like a you just saw how he changed, or like how he, or like how John says it in the game, like how like this must have been how he always been, and we just never saw it, or something like that. It's just like when you had that realization, and it's just like you see how Dutch for who he really is, or like. Or what he transformed, like it's hard to see, hard to tell in that game, in a good way. Like,
yeah, I think that's good.
It's just so fascinating.
Was there anything in that story? Like, I'm not talking about kind of like the off the beaten path beats of the story. I'm talking about like the main Arthur and Dutch story that genuinely surprised you, or was it
constantly? Yeah.
Okay, because I obviously like. We know what Red Dead is about, and we know kind of like the story of that game, and this is all kind of setting up for it. I just don't know if there's something in that path that would really take you by surprise or really knock you off guard.
Yeah, constantly. Like, I mean, like, because obviously by the end of that game, you know, like, oh, by the end of the game, it's pretty much just John. Bill Williamson, Javier Escuela, and like Dutch who are left from the game, more or less. Like some just ran away and like for whatever reason, like or somebody just got killed. We don't know. So it's like how did we get to this point, and like what led to this, and like why would like such a group of people who are willing to die for this man at the beginning just like leave by the end, and like you get why for one reason or another. So it's like that game's real good.
Cool.
It's a really good game. It's a very good experience. I'm ecstatic to like beat it tonight. Mostly to get it out of the way so I can actually concentrate on other games I need to play. But like I've just been enjoying that ride for so much that yeah, like this whole epilogue shit has just been like I love that. I'm loving that to death right now. Because it's obvious what it is, but like whatever. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. So as long as you like it, like I think that's what matters. What other games are you trying to clear the way for? What are you trying to hit before the end of the year?
Dragon Quest and Valkyria Chronicles.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I need to beat those games. Like Valkyria Chronicles is still my favorite game this year, but I still need to beat the story for like my full opinion on that.
Okay, I didn't know that was your like number one.
Yeah, for sure, it really is.
Okay.
And like Dragon Quest, I just enjoy so much. I had to drop, and like I really want to like spend more time with that game before the end of the year. And I would like to play more Afterpath. I haven't even like really started that game, but like that probably is going to be something I'll do next year. But we'll see about that.
Okay. Have you been playing anything else?
And that's pretty much it.
Okay. I got some big ones that I jumped into this week. I'm hoping I didn't forget anything on this list. Smash Bros. Ultimate, we already talked about. It's phenomenal. I've like, again, some of the most fun online multiplayer I've had this year, in a year where I like had some incredible times with Destiny 2 Forsaken. Like I would compare some of the times I had with Destiny 2 Forsaken to some of the fun I had with the Taken King, like those highs of like the very highest highs. And a lot of that's the people I was playing with for both of those instances, but Smash Bros is like a very different kind of thing. But like I don't find myself like this is a poor way to put it, but like I don't find myself butthurt after a Smash Bros game of Ultimate. Like Mike Burgess is way better than me with just about every character, but if we have like a tense or close match, like we played a 1v1 like Final Destination no items type thing. We played a few rounds of that, and Mike and I played Crom and he played someone he felt confident with. He played Pit, and it was like just so tense and so satisfying. Like I lost 2 stock to none, but like we were like trading blows and like perfect shielding each other and stuff like that. Like it was so tight. Like the match was so tight, and it was like so quiet on the Discord when we were playing. It just felt awesome. And I finally got to play with Scott White, and it was a very similar thing of like just so they were so close, and we were going back and forth at some point, and even if I wasn't winning, I was having a really good time, and it was like I'm playing characters I would never play otherwise, and I'm learning things about those characters and having a good time in a way I just haven't before, and that's awesome. And yeah, Smash Bros is very good. I'm so ecstatic to feel this good about a Smash Bros game. I'm still like playing Breath of the Wild in the background because I'm a mess. But the game's like comfort food for me, and I just need it, and I'm loving it. I won't spend too much time on it. I started doing the Master Sword Trials, which was one of the DLC things, which are okay. I don't think they're there's like 3 different sets of them. I don't think they're amazing, but because it is a little derivative of itself. It's essentially like, hey, we're going to take all your stuff away, and kind of like there's a part of that game, Eventide Island, where it takes all your stuff away and kind of sends you back to basics. And it's like, all right, you got to find all your weapons, find all your food, find all your armor and figure it out again, just like you did at the start of the game. And the Master Sword Trials are just that again in these kind of tighter, more crafted chambers that change over time. So it is like I said, derivative of itself, but they're still fun. I think that still works for that game really well. It brings out an ingenuity in you that you might not know that was there. I bought Grease, which I haven't played yet, but I just want to say, like, hey, Grease seems really good. It's GRIS. It's on Switch and PC. People should probably play it. The Stardew Valley update, 1.3 update, went out on Switch as well. The multiplayer update. So multiplayer's now on Switch, which is just very cool. I haven't played that at all yet, but there's like a bunch of additional stuff that they added to the game with that update. So they started another new save file on it. I don't know how much time I'm going to actually commit to it, but I started it and I just started chipping away at that again. The big ones, I played a good deal more Darksiders 3, which I think I've like now the pendulum's been swinging back and forth. I think I like Darksiders 3. I really like it, but I certainly recognize its problems. It's just such a weird game. It feels like so disconnected from 1 and 2, like I don't want to say like theologically, that's probably the wrong word, but like in its conceptually, that's what I'm looking for. Like it has the whole mechanic where if you die, you lose all of your souls. I don't know what they're called in that game, but for point of simplicity, you lose all your souls and they will stay where you die, in like this little floating blue soul head that you have to hit with your weapon to get them back. But it's not like Dark Souls in that if you die again, that one doesn't disappear and a new one appears where you most recently died. It's just like all the places where you've died, the amount of souls that you had will be there. As long as you can get back to it, doesn't matter how many times it takes, you can get them back, which is cool. It's a little bit more forgiving, and it makes a little bit more sense for this. But yeah, I don't know. Darksiders 3 it's a very weird game. I've chipped away a little bit more of it. A lot of its progression is based on these hollows, which are like elemental hollows. So like there's a fire one that lets you double jump, and then there's like a wind thunder hollow or something that lets you glide. And I think that's like the Metroidvania style progression comes from those, and they're cool. Like it lets you interact with the environment in a very different way. And I've yet to see how, like, there are 2 more of those hollows that I haven't seen. There are other abilities I assume that you get as well. So I've yet to see how all of those come into play. Welcome back.
I think all 3 of those games are fucking weird.
They're very weird. They're all just so different from one another too. Like one being kind of like Zelda, one being kind of like Diablo, and one kind of being like Dark Souls meets Metroid. It's frustrating because in a way it's cool because you're playing different characters for each game, so like maybe they all have their own kind of unique play styles, and that translates to unique games. But it's frustrating in that it seems like the series doesn't really have its own identity. It's just comping different franchises, other things that do it arguably better. The way that this works out for the best is the game where you actually get to play as all 4 horsemen, and they all kind of come together. You play different sections as each of those horsemen, and those respective horsemen play like their original games, right? War plays like a kind of God of War meets Zelda game, like when you play his sections. Death would play like a Diablo loot collecting, Prince of Persia platforming character, and Fury plays like a kind of stiffer Dark Souls-y character. But I don't think that game will ever come out, and that's a bummer. Welcome back, Namashin.
I missed you
so much. Darksiders is cool though. I think it is. If you like those games, it's probably worth playing. That's my takeaway because I like those games and I find myself compelled to keep playing it. I don't know how long it is the big thing. So I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish it this year because I just want to play other stuff. The other big one is Below, which came out yesterday.
Sequel to Above.
Sequel to Above or the prequel to Above. I've been looking forward to Below for what feels like the first time I played Below. I went to PAX East with Jacob Bryant when he was a part of Irrational Passions, which is eons ago, which I believe is 2014. I've been looking forward to Below since I think it was like the Xbox One announcement. Was that it? Do you know?
Yeah, it was.
So Capybara Games, right? They make really cool stuff. They made Fire Emblem, not Fire Emblem, not Clash of Clans. Why would I think of that? Might and Magic, Clash of Heroes, I think is what it's called. The little kind of grid-based strategy game that Tony Scott and I all got way into way back when. And they've also made some other cool, unique puzzle games. And this was kind of like their first foray into this more action-y kind of game. It's a top-down Zelda-like, but it's also a roguelike, very much a roguelike. And it's very cool. Like now that I'm sitting down and playing the full thing, like I've had the opportunity to talk to different members of the team on this game for multiple years, it feels like. So like it's weird because I'm going into it with a distinct advantage of like, okay, one thing, because when you play it, there's 0 instructions. It barely tells you like buttons that open menus. Like you have to figure out how to open the map at some point. Like it'll tell you how to do it, but that information is available to you from the get-go. But so like I know because I've talked to one of the creative leads on it is like the big thing that plays into the survival aspect of the game. Like you have thirst, you have hunger, you have warmth. You have to keep yourself warm as well. Is like the big thing that you're creating these soups, these stews. Like that's the only kind of craftable recovery item that you can make is like a soup. And the soups will have different effects depending on what you put into the soup. But like, you know, there's context clues to pick up on that of like every time you start with a bottle of water and you can take that to a campfire and like put stuff into it and cook it into a soup. You can eventually get there. But like, you know, just every time you hit A in a puddle of water, you're leaning down and scooping up water. And it's like, why is he scooping up all this water? Like, there's no point A to point B leading you to that. So like, I came in knowing like, okay, I got to make soup because it's the only thing that's going to heal me. It's the only thing that's going to keep me warm and fed. I can craft this, and this. There's also a mechanic where basically the checkpoints of the game are bonfires or like little campfires that you can light. It's where you can craft stuff. But you can pour a certain amount of these like little crystals that you get from killing enemies into the fire to turn it into a blue fire. And that's kind of like your warp point, your fast travel point. You can only have one active fast travel point at any given time. So which again, all stuff I've learned through demos I've played at events. So having this knowledge ahead of time, I'm like, okay, I know what I got to do. So essentially you get as far in as you can, and then you pour these crystals into a fire and make that kind of like your warp point. So you go right to where you were last. But it's cool in that it takes like being a roguelike more seriously than I would say most modern roguelikes that have tried to kind of lighten some of the more frustrating aspects of those games. Like there's a unique item in the game called a lantern, and you light the lantern with the same crystals that you get from killing enemies. You need the lantern to open certain doors to reveal secrets, and if you die, you lose the lantern. And you have to go find it. It is not like, it doesn't go back to where you first got it on the surface of this island. You have to go find the corpse of the adventurer that died, because when you die, it very much goes back to the very beginning of the game and shows someone showing up to this island on a different boat, a different looking person, and it's like, all right, you're a different person now. Go also explore this island. You have to get to the floor because basically you're going down and down and down, and it ranks down by floor level. So, for example, where I'm playing, I'm on my second character. I've only had one death, and I'm on floor 3. I just got to floor 3. And they're relatively small, but it takes time to really explore them and find any secrets that you might have missed in there. And if you die, like, there are traps in these floors that will just kill you instantly. Like, there are spike traps. If you walk over them, they come up and kill you. That's it. You're dead. And, like, that character is dead. Everything that character had, including, like, this unique lantern, is dead with them. It's like where they died. You come back, all the floors are randomly generated, so you go in again and everything's different, everything looks different, all the enemies have respawned, and you kind of have to figure out your way again. And I think that's cool. Like, I think it can definitely be frustrating, and I can tell playing the final version, they've made it so, like, enemies do less damage, and it's a little bit harder to die, at least right off the bat, than it was when I had played it before, which I appreciate. But I don't know, I think that it works for this game in a way where I don't know if it would work for something else, because, like, you come into this and it's brutal and it's scary and it's kind of harrowing, and you know, like, tonally you are getting the kind of signals of, like, this game is not here to fuck around, and I do like that. So, you know, I died. I had to go down to the second floor. And luckily, like, the map will kind of indicate to you of, like, a red dot indicates where you last died, and it will kind of tell you what floor the lantern is on if you forgot or didn't find it or anything. So you get, like, little hints just through the UI interface of, like, okay, you know, go 2 floors up, and that's when you'll find the lantern, and it's somewhere on this floor. It won't tell you exactly where. And you can get all your items back from the corpse that you left behind. Sometimes maybe things would have gotten lost over time, but I think that's, it's really cool. It honestly, it reminds me a lot of Fez, which I know is, like, a specific comparison, but I'm sitting here thinking about it. There is, like, musical stuff and visual indications of, like, something grander is going on in a way that Fez did, I think. Of, like, this kind of otherworldly feel to it, and that is the same vibe of, like, there is something going on the surface here of, like, this world I'm exploring and these secrets I'm finding, and then there's something even more beyond that. I don't know yet, so that's just the vibe it gets me, but it feels good. It looks great. It's got amazing music. Jim Guthrie did the music, and he always knocks it out of the park as far as I'm concerned. It's, you know, if you like exploration games, if you like roguelikes, I think this will really speak to you. It's one of those things, kind of like when I played Darksiders a few weeks ago. I've played 2 hours of it, and I don't know if I have a complete opinion on it. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface, but I can tell that what is here is really, really cool, and I'm just really glad that this game is actually out now. And yeah, I think I'm hopeful that it was worth the wait, because it seems really, really cool. I'm trying to think. I feel like I might have played something else.
Ashen?
I dipped my toe into Ashen, but it was really like, I just can't. I don't have time. I would rather play Below than Ashen right now, although it sounds like Ashen is doing some really cool stuff. I know Austin Walker is a big fan of what Ashen is putting out there. But I have it downloaded. I played through the intro of Ashen, and it's cool. You know, it's another Dark Souls-like game with its own unique art style. There's way more story in it than I thought there would be. There's, like, a lot of...
Honestly, I had no idea it was a Dark Souls-like game until I saw, like, gameplay of it. Like, wow, I don't know why that just never seemed like it was that type of game. But oh well.
Yeah, it seems it's not 1-to-1. I don't think.
For sure.
It certainly plays like that. I played it at PAX East this year with Mike Burgess. And it, you know, I feel like saying it's one of those is reductive, but
Sure.
it's going for that kind of feel. But aesthetically, that game is doing some wild shit, and that's really cool. But yeah, the big thing was like there's just way more story. There's like voice acting in it, which I didn't know there was any voice acting in that game. Like the whole beginning of that game is like a 5-minute long cutscene setting up the world, just like a Dark Souls 3 had, which I was taken aback by, but I thought it was cool. Is there anything else I'm forgetting, Notion? I think that's it. Just playing a lot of games, which is great. I love it. But there's just not enough time to play everything. Like I replayed Tetris Effect multiple more times this week. You know,
Hades, maybe.
I can't play Hades. It's not available on my platform. I love to play Hades though. New Supergiant Games game. But maybe someday. I'm sure it'll come to other things soon, but it's just not there yet. There is also there's another game that the other IP folks have been talking about, but I can't remember the name of it right now. That's all I've been playing at the very least. I do so we do have a little bit of mail sack stuff. That we got a voicemail from Silver PR.
Before that though,
Yeah.
tell me about your audiobook adventures.
Oh, I've not dipped my toe into audiobook adventures at all recently.
All right, well, moving on.
I'm sorry. I would have told you
I feel
if
very betrayed.
I feel bad because I was like I keep thinking about going back to it and I'm like I just like want to focus on it. I don't want to miss anything. So
Sure.
I will I will deliver you an update soon, Tony. I promise.
Dude. I finished all 3 of those books, and I'm almost done on the first book of one of his other.
Yeah. How's his other franchises?
So they're like the other one that I'm listening to, which is the Mistborn.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote before the Way of Kings, but it's set in like all of those books are set in the same universe.
Really? Okay.
Not even like on the same like planet or whatever. But technically they are within you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like maybe like 4 hours away from the end of the first book of the 3 of them. And it's good. Yeah. I think I owned all of those before from that time when I just had a bunch of audiobooks when I originally got the Way of Kings. But yeah, it's good. It's different. And the magic system and everything is different, but it's very interesting.
Okay.
That one too. So
cool. Brandon Sanderson. Dude knows what's up.
Yeah, dude. He writes real good.
He does. I agree. I do want to touch on your thoughts on the Game Awards, Kind of Funny Games Showcase in Alberton, because I missed having it. Tony did not see either. So I didn't know.
We didn't see it together, so I didn't know what to do.
It's true. We couldn't hold hands and watch together as we cried. I don't know why we would be holding hands and crying, but
I know why.
I want to get your thoughts. How do you feel, Nobishin? I also missed a couple of points when we talked about it last week that I wanted to reiterate. But what was your takeaway from the Game Awards?
It was good.
It was good, man.
Yeah, it's always good. It's good. It's been good for the last few years. Best it's ever been. I feel like I say this every year. So
continues to get better and better.
Yeah. If there's like any one critique I had is like there was so much of a focus on like voting for esports this year, and yet like it kind of got like passed by like really fast. That's like really my only really critique.
Exactly my feeling as well. Yeah.
Like if you're going to focus on it, like focus on it. Like if it's not that big of a deal, then maybe I don't know. That was just like a little critique of mine, but that's like literally the only thing. Yeah,
I got to be on the super deformed Gamecast this week, 2 nights ago, just on YouTube, SDGC. Go check it out. John, the host of that, is a good friend. And we got to talk about it a little bit. That was kind of like my thing of like when we had our prediction show, like Tony, you brought like a lot of really good nuance and information about those categories. And like even the stuff that we talked about of like Sonic Fox is like a very cool dude, and like in all defense, he got his moment, and that was awesome. And like Namish and I were texting about that while it was going on. Of like, man, like I just like I'm so happy. I'm like choked up because like this dude is just so genuine, and there's just not enough of that there. And also, like we talked about back over the summer, of like you were telling me of like this guy's been around for a while. He's been kicking ass for a long time, and now he gets his moment in the spotlight, and that's awesome. And they have all these different categories that are trying to bring this in. Like Tony's telling us all these stories about, you know, the different dynamics of these League of Legends teams and like the captains and whatnot and the announcers, and a lot of them won awards, but I feel like they didn't get recognized, you know, of like tell us these stories in the biggest esports moment. Show me the moments, right? Like
yeah, like this, you know, and some of them come down to like 20-second plays. I mean, I don't know if it really even makes sense to play that, because like, what does that do for anyone who doesn't know what the fuck's going on? Nothing.
But like, I think if you really committed to it, like, you know, set me up, give me as like the person that's just watching that might not know about League of Legends, like get me invested. Like, I think you did a really great job of doing that, Tony, in the conversation that we had. And I don't think that was that hard. So like, I think they could have done a better job at that. Especially if they were going to be like 12 esports categories.
Yeah, there were a lot of esports categories.
Yeah, so that was like, it was just a missed opportunity. A big thing that I didn't mention when we talked about it last week was like the kind of opening moment where Reggie, Phil Spencer, and Sean Layden were all on stage together. Was really cool. And I totally forgot to mention it. But yeah, the show opened with the president of Nintendo of America, I don't know what Sean Layden's title is anymore, and the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, because SIE is like a whole fucking thing. I think he's like the president of SIE, but they did all that reshuffling. But you know, essentially the three faces of United States video games industry of the big three, right? On stage together saying like, hey, like, we're here to celebrate the best of the best. We're here to be inclusive. We're here because we're a community. And in a lot of ways, it is kind of like empty symbolism. But I think there is like, especially this year, just 2018 as a year for the planet Earth in general, like the idea of like this really inclusiveness, like everybody is here and everybody belongs here and we care about all of you, is like just a good thing to say. And it was like a really good moment for video games. It's like never happened before. Because if you think back to like 1999 when Nintendo and Sega are taking pot shots at each other and like having fun, like I certainly believe there's like good spirited fun behind that, but like it was a far more 1999 would be like Sony and Nintendo taking pot shots at each other, but 1989 would be like Sony and Sega taking shots at each other. But you know, like I said, all in
Nintendo,
good fun.
Sega.
Nintendo, Sega, whoever.
Continue.
I can't names. How do I door? I think like it is just a transition of like, you know, this is a different industry now. It's also like grown up a lot, and here are these three people that kind of represent these three brands and have gotten a lot better at speaking to the people that are a part of those communities, and them being on stage together is like a big kind of like, hey, things like console wars and whatnot don't matter. Like things like people working really hard on these games and people really caring about these games, like both sides of this, like really matter. And I don't know, it was a really good takeaway, I thought. And shout out to Jeff Keighley, because he's literally the only human being in the world that can make that happen. And that's awesome. But yeah, what were some of your favorite announcements, Nabishin?
I don't know. Like other than like Joker and Smash, that's one thing, but like I don't know. I thought all the announcers were good, but like nothing really actually spoke to me, I guess you would say.
Okay.
Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for other people. You know, like Dragon Age. Like I'm not really that big a fan of Dragon Age, but like you know, I was excited for like
our friends Jessica and Kaylee, like, oh yeah, they're doing the Dragon Age, so hope y'all are ready, and they're super excited. Yeah, there's nothing really I can really think off the top of my head, honestly. Like,
Do you like the Mortal Kombat 11 announcement?
oh yeah, that was a good one. That was definitely good. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, I can't really think of the other ones of that. And like for the Company Showcase, like that's more of like I remember like all the games, but like the names aren't like in my head. Like there's stuff I'm excited about, like I just can't remember like the names of them. Like, but I know when I see them, I know what they are. Obviously, like Judgment, I'm excited for, and like I'm happy about The Walking Dead. At least they get to finish their story. But like the games that they show, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we included the big takeaways. Yeah, I am very much excited about a lot of the indie stuff shown during the showcase, and like. It was cool to see that like get as much recognition as it did from like totally new people to that of like, hey, this is like an indie games showcase in a lot of ways with some AAA sprinkled on top, and a lot of those games would not get the light of day otherwise. So, no, there's no real news to speak of this year. I mean, we are in the end of the year, so this is.
Week?
This week. So this is pretty normal. And we kind of talked a lot about the Epic Games Store stuff last week. So let's
install it, Tony. Are you getting it?
Are you into the Epic Games Store, Tony?
Do you want another platform to click on?
I have it because I played Fortnite at one point. But every time I try and log into the Epic Games Store, my password, it has to be.
You have to set 12
because some Russian bitches keep trying to get my like Fortnite account that I spent like $2 on once. I don't understand, dude. It's free to play game. Just fucking get your own.
Listen.
Why do you need my account?
Let me tell you about my my Fortnite Ponzi scheme that I've got set up. I don't know. There's a lot of I have to have 2-factor authentication on my Epic Games account, or else.
Yeah, I put that shit up because they email me like every day.
Yep.
Like,
hey,
we want to help
really
secure your Epic Games account. You should turn on whatever. Russia's trying to get your shit.
Yep. We've seen 12 failed login attempts for your Epic Games account.
Like, wow.
I did download and install the client. I've looked around it a little bit. It runs very poorly on my computer, but
all right.
Yeah. Otherwise, indifferent.
Did you hear about the Discord thing?
Yeah, I saw they put a message saying they're really doubling down in 2019, trying to make another platform. Which it's funny because like we talked to the guys that are making Last Year Nightmare, I think is what it's called, which is a cool like asymmetrical multiplayer game that is launching first exclusively on Discord. I think it is available on Discord right now. And it's one of the first kind of Discord exclusive games. And it's another thing of like Discord came out and said like, hey, we're going to give it an even better cut of the profits to the developer than the Epic Games Store, which was giving a better cut to the developer than Steam. And I don't know how much that's going to matter at some point. Like it could be 99.1. And then like, that's great for the developer, but it's like, well, how is this platform sustainable? Yada, yada, yada. Like Discord might be the place to do that because it has other kind of profit revenue because it's a platform for people talking and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. Like this whole 2019 is going to be a weird year for PC gaming. But we were talking about it on that other show I was on of like, I don't know if I want the console wars type mentality to translate to PC gaming space, which used to be so agnostic. To be fair, agnostic under the great banner of Steam. But like of like, oh, I'm a Epic Games Store diehard versus like a Steam Store guy. Like, you know, I don't know if I want that. And it's just like people kind of crowding around a storefront, right? Like it's just it is not a thing that you should be cheering for really in any way. Especially, you shouldn't be crowding around one that might be given a shittier deal to the developer. But still, at the end of the day, like for the most part, Steam is giving like almost 80% of profits to the developer, etc. So like, I don't know.
It really makes me wonder if like I'm trying to think of something obscure that is love. Well, let's say like Valhalla, the sequel to Valhalla comes out, and like it comes out on the Epic Store and it comes out on Steam at the same time. Like because people recognize it, and then, like as far as like a bigger scheme type of thing. And I mean more like the general consumer who like actually gets like the game. Like, is it more beneficial to be on something like Epic, or is it more beneficial to be on something like Steam? Because like Steam is like something that everyone knows, everyone has, and so it's like having the extra percentage. Does that make up for like like if it sold like 1,000 on like on Epic Store, but sells like 10,000 on Steam? Does that equal out, or does that like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where, like, for example, I'd like to think of myself as a relatively informed consumer. I buy almost all of my music. A lot of it I do stream through Apple Music, but I buy most of it. And if I can, I will always buy from Bandcamp because they do a better split for the artist, right? And I do that because, like, you know, typically one Bandcamp is a little bit cheaper, but two, it like, you know, it supports the artist more. It's like, all right, cool. Like, if this is available on Bandcamp, I will buy it there. Like the Undertale album, the full soundtrack, it's available on iTunes, also available on Bandcamp, same price. I bought it on Bandcamp because Toby Fox gets the better cut of that. It's like, okay, cool. Like, whatever. It's not a big deal to me. I still get to listen to it either way. So in theory, if a single player game that I wanted to play on PC, like let's say Deltarune in its final form comes out on Steam and the Epic Game Store, I might be more inclined to buy it on the Epic Game Store because I know Toby Fox. Weird to use the same example twice, but just another PC game that I might actually buy. I would probably buy it on the Epic Game Store just because I know he might get a better cut of it, him and the development team behind it. So maybe, but like, I don't know. Like, I think what you're saying, Albation, of everybody has Steam and it's way more visible there is true, but also a lot of times untrue because there's also just so much on Steam. Like, there's so much trash on Steam now that is just, it's the same kind of mentality of like the Switch store right now, which is a mess. But for the most part, since it's a pretty young platform, I can find what I need. It's just like you're losing things in the crowd of garbage. Or not necessarily, I don't want to say garbage to be completely dismissive, but like more inexpensively made games that are just trying to make a quick buck. So it might actually be harder to find something on Steam in 6 months than it will be on the Epic Game Store, which is still curating all of its stuff. So I don't know. Yeah. Like Valhalla is a good example. I'd probably buy that on the Epic Game Store because it's like a really small team. They get a bigger cut, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. It's a complicated thing, but I think the hope is that so many people play Fortnite, kind of like Tony, you're weirdly in this case of like they just happen to have the Epic Games client. They go there to play Fortnite and they might see something that grabs their eye, buy it. And
except if you're me and you just have it and it sits on your desktop for multiple months and you're like, oh, I guess I'll open it. And then Fortnite has like 13 updates. And you're like, oh, just...
I'm good actually.
Yeah.
I think
like I just opened it and it was 15 friend requests, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I appreciate there is an accept all friend request button though.
And I only accepted one of them.
Nice, dude. I think also to that, more people. I don't know the numbers of this, but I would bet more people play Fortnite on the 12 other platforms it's available on, like Switch, PS4, Xbox One, or
I probably would have played it on, but I enough into like having interest in how that whole of on other platforms now, so I just never did.
Yeah, and like at the bottom end of the day, not bottom of the day, at the end of the day, you can now play Fortnite's a great example of like you can now play that with anybody anywhere, and that's good. I'm all for
How
that.
like 4 had no problem actually getting that going.
Yeah. So it's just like, how much will Fortnite boon the Epic Games Store as a platform? We have yet to see, because I don't know how many people actually played on PC. Sure, all the real competitive people, but like the real competitive people that are on that platform already probably aren't looking at any other game on that storefront. So, because they just play Fortnite. There's a lot of what if scenarios I could throw out here, but it is more of a 2019. We will have to wait and see type thing.
For sure.
Who knows? If you would like to be a part of this show, though, I can tell you, I know that you can tweet your question at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ, and we'll read it on the show. You can send us an email, mailsack@irrationalpassion.com, or leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. We will listen to it on the show, just like Silver PR did. Silver PR let me know that this is probably going to be his last voicemail for 2018, which is understandable. We only have 16 days left in the year. Let's give it a listen.
What up, guys? Silver PR here. I hope everybody's doing well. Aside of all the crappy stuff that has happened to me, this last quarter of gaming has been good to me. Aside of all the good titles that PlayStation Plus have given us throughout the last 2 months, I attained throughout this past 2 months FIFA 19, Injustice 2, and Red Dead 2. Obviously, Injustice is what it is. I mean, I bought the definitive edition. It has all the characters. Having a lot of fun with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because, I'm a fan of those. Also, FIFA 19, I enjoy the story. Dabble a little bit with the Ultimate Team that I never dabbled before. It's interesting. I see where the trappings for the microtransactions and the people that they're impulsive and buy this digital loot boxes, cards, whatever you want to call them, they get into, but it's not for me. And I dabble with what I can, for free in the game, and I have fun with it. It doesn't make me struggle. There are a lot of other modes in FIFA that you don't need to force yourself to play Ultimate Team. I think playing Ultimate Team, you can have a lot of fun doing the other modes, career or my player or the story mode itself of the journey. So that's a good thing. Also, obviously, Red Dead 2. When it comes to open world games, and I heard Jeff Gerstmann's weeks ago or like a month back, his opinions about the game that they should have trimmed the fat of the game. If there's a lot in it, and I can agree and disagree with that opinion of his, because I have been overwhelmed by games like Just Cause for being open world, having a lot of shit to do in the world. For some reason, when it comes to Red Dead, at least this game, the amount of overwhelming is just fine for me. And I don't feel the urgency of doing things in the world, so I'm pretty much doing it at my own pace. And it doesn't feel overwhelming at the same time. And it's just great. It's just damn freaking great. Right now, I'm pretty much at the epilogue stages of the story. Just doing a lot of challenges, so I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm doing pretty much right now concentrating on the hunting challenges.
Sounds like
hunting master challenges. So, yeah, I'm having a ton of fun with that. And I don't care what people say out there. I mean, I think pretty much God of War 3 is pretty much the next game that I'm going to try to attain, since it won Game of the Year in the Game Awards. Congrats to those guys. But having a lot of fun with Red Dead 2. And it's a story that I would play again.
Okay.
So, aside of that, side tangents, what can I say? The Game Awards, a lot of reveals. Pretty much the two moments for me were the Dreadwolf Rises, Dragon Age. I don't know if this game is going to come next year or in 2020.
No, definitely not.
I just know there's a new Dragon Age. Obviously, they were been working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're working on it before the next Mass Effect. I hope that it's the case. So I'm looking forward for the next step after the story of Inquisition, because, oh my God, that reveal, obviously was a tease, but It made me so happy. And obviously, although I don't have a Switch, I don't have Smash, but I was so happy for Alex that the Joker and
Got a lot
Persona
of
5
tweets.
got revealed. It came out of nowhere. It was like the what the fuck moment of the year pretty much when it comes to reveals. It just came out of nowhere, and it just makes everybody think like now all the DLC characters for this first season, if they're gonna make a second season down the line for Smash, it's everybody's game, and that's the best part of it. I think it's great. It's awesome. Uh, just looking forward for it. And obviously, Mortal Kombat 11. Now that I have the last NetherRealm game that they released, having fun with that, and makes me get excited for the next iteration of Mortal Kombat because I skipped Mortal Kombat 10 with all the system. Maybe this one would not, make me skip again another Mortal Kombat game. So, looking forward for that. So, yeah, that's pretty much about me, guys. Maybe I will not send another one of these until next year. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you enjoy time with your loved ones. If you're not, hope you enjoy time with your friends or your close ones. Oh, do that with me, with the family, little family that I have here in NYC. So, without further ado, have a fun one. Have a happy Saturday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Have a good 2019. So, Silver PR signing out.
Bye, Silver. We love you very much.
Yeah.
The one of my favorite things during the Game Awards, like I said, Nobshin and I were texting a little bit during it, was after Joker was announced, I just texted Nobshin, dude. Just dude. Very much. I got a lot of tweets of people saying, I hope Alex O'Neil is wherever he is okay. I was not. I was very excited.
You want to make a commitment, Alex?
Yeah. I'm always ready to commit.
We should try. Honestly, we should try to do New York in 2019. Hang out with Moises, hang out with Nicole,
Okay.
hang out with Branch, and hang out with Silver. Because I was just thinking about we should
people in
fucking
New
hang
York.
out with Silver.
We should hang out with Silver. He's far more accessible now. And also, my sweet
You
son.
go and wait in line at the Nintendo store for a long time.
Yeah, let's wait in line. Let's go right the day Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. Just go for old times'
Fuck
sake.
yeah.
No, we should. I've been talking about it with Moises and Brant and Roger a lot. Of just like I want to do this. If we can make like a fun little group trip out of it, that could be really good. Spend like a weekend up there. It doesn't have to be a long time, but we could have a good time. We should hang out with Silver PR. I'm with you. I like this. I'm committed. I Game Awards were great. I'm glad you're enjoying Red Dead Silver. I know he's a big fan of open world games, so it seems like that would be right up his alley. He did send us a follow-up tweet saying, now that we know Joker from Persona 5 is in Smash, was the most left field character to be added to the roster, who do you think would be the most left field to be potentially revealed for Smash Ultimate? And he said the catch is no Kingdom Hearts 3, so no Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Ball Super, or Mortal Kombat characters. Have fun with this one. I already got it. I got the most left field character that you could put. That makes sense. That could be doable. That wouldn't be like a popular choice per se, but it would be out of left field. You want to know what it is? It's Billy Hatcher. I'm very proud of this one. Do you remember who Billy Hatcher was, Tony?
I don't.
Billy Hatcher was a Sega.
Most annoying commercial.
Oh yeah, dude. Yes, it was. It's a Sega developed 3D platformer for the GameCube, where it's a young boy named Billy. He's got like a rooster hat on, and the big thing is he would roll around an egg, like a chicken egg, multicolored chicken egg, and the thing was you would feed the egg fruit over and over again to get it big enough that it would start blinking, and then you could go cock-a-doodle-doo and hatch it. And different creatures that you hatch would have different powers. I actually pitched this character on the most recent episode of Podcast Ultimate when we weren't doing character pitches, but I wrote one out anyway because I forgot. But I like the idea of Billy Hatcher like having to nurture an egg in a battle. I like the idea of you having to like carry around a thing, like essentially an item that you have to kind of take care of. You can use as a weapon, you can use as a recovery item, like you can jump off of it as his up B, and it would go plummeting down. And you could like summon a new one anytime. You would lose your egg, but you would get like a really powerful attack off if you got it like big enough. I like the idea of like you kind of nurturing and defending something while also using it as an item throughout a battle in Smash. I think it would fit that game really well. That would be mine. I hope Silver PR is not disappointed in that one. What about you, Nabashin? Do you have like a totally out of left field one?
I mean, like it's restricted, but like honestly, like the next only other one I could think of being like a character would be like Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, Sora is I feel on the table for sure, which is crazy, dude.
Yeah, that'd be another moment of like,
Your dreams, man.
like the Joker thing was just like it's more of like no one was thinking about it. No one even had that in the conversation type of thing. It was just like just a general thing. Like if Persona 5 came to Switch and they like, oh yeah, sure, then potentially. But like, it was just like, what the fuck is this? Like no one saw it coming. So like that's like yeah,
it's great.
Tony,
what about you? Do you have a out of left field character to throw into Smash Brothers?
I don't know, dude.
What
Everyone's
if
already here?
It's true, but what if they put Aurelion Sol in that game?
That was so.
It
wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work, but that'd be so fucking cool if they put like a straight up League of Legends character in that game.
It'd be weird.
It would be weird. Honestly, like I wouldn't put it past them at this point. Nintendo is out there making moves. It's just really cool. Like Reggie's come out and said like he can't comment on whether or not Persona 5 is coming to Switch, which tells me I think
it's coming.
Yeah, I think they want it to happen. I just don't think it's a sure shot.
I play it on Switch. I get the Persona 5 special just on Switch.
Yeah, I would absolutely do that, and I think
like Huber's reaction was like the best when like he saw it because it was like when like the screen because like one of the screen read and it said Persona it said take your heart. And it was like, oh, I got another reason to play it again. Like just to have another reason to play it again. It's just like,
yeah, literally, give me any excuse to throw another 100 hours in that game, and I will do it gladly. And it's just like I don't know. I think
especially when you get to like relive the feeling of playing Golden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like if we get like a new content type thing on Switch, like it. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility, and that's cool, man. It's funny because, I don't know, Nintendo has been making so many really impressive moves. Like, I think the whole Into the Breach is one of those things where a lot of people were like, this would be so good on Switch. Too bad Nintendo will never do it. And they were out there like, people have been saying this would be good on Switch. Like, we should see what we can do about this. I think a lot of the same sentiment is true of Persona 5 as well. Like, everyone was like, I love Persona 5. I just wish it was on Switch. And Nintendo probably started working on that right then.
They're like, hey, you see this? We could make some money with this shit.
Yeah, and like the Switch is a very successful platform. It would be very profitable. I just like, we don't know what kind of agreement they had with Sony. And I think that's just where the muddy waters get in.
I still feel though with the DLC characters, like overall is like I still feel like Smash Bros is still like pretty much the celebration of the Japanese gaming industry in general. So like it'll be predominantly the DLC will be mostly just Japanese characters or from Japanese games or whatever. But like I still feel, but I do feel like Banjo-Kazooie has the biggest shot out of anything now. Like as a DLC character, like that's like probably like the one that will be on there.
Yeah.
From like a different region, I would feel.
Yep, I agree. I'm with you. But like the other ones, like, yeah, I don't know. It could be anybody. I'm really hopeful like a Tails character gets in there.
Which one though? Would it be the Symphonia one?
I don't know. Like I think it could be like because Vesperia is coming out on Switch in January, it could easily be like Yuri. I think like that could totally work. But I think Lloyd would make the most sense, like history wise. Like obviously, Tales of Symphonia has so much history on GameCube and with Nintendo. But like the Tales of the Abyss was on 3DS as well. So like, you know, they've got other characters from that franchise and other iterations of that franchise that have come to Nintendo platforms in the past. I just think so many people came into Tales with Lloyd and with Symphonia that it would be the kind of justifiable character to put there. But I think there are better, more interesting characters like Yuri Lil that you could put in Smash.
Like I'm honestly trying to think about this right now because like we have a Sega, we have Capcom, we have Konami, we have. I'm trying to think like, is there like another big publisher, like Level 5 maybe with
Tecmo Koei maybe
from Dragon Quest.
But that's like Tecmo Koei is like just under Bandai at this point. So, like the only thing
will we honestly get that Dark Souls character?
Absolutely, I think it's totally on the table.
Because we have an amiibo of them, so like I'm just saying like something. That would be crazy.
Solaire would be like a totally great out of left field character. I also think like a Monster Hunter character would absolutely make a lot of sense, and I'm surprised there isn't one in there already. I know it's like a more plain character, but like, you know, you've got Piranha Plant and Inkling in there. I think you could throw in Hunter from Monster Hunter and it would work fine. So, a lot of good. The best part is it could be any of them or none of them, and I think no matter what, we're going to be so stoked when they announce, if Joker is any indication of what they're trying to do. Because I don't think Joker is going to be the most surprising character. That's the craziest thing. I don't think you start with the craziest character. And if that's true, that's fucking wild.
Like I think we're at a point now where it's like when we see like a trailer or something and like I'll like
you like won't know if it's Smash Brothers.
Exactly. You just wait for the symbol. Like, where's the symbol? Someone's gonna turn around and show the symbol.
You're just watching like a totally innocent, like the fucking Marvel trailer for Ultimate Alliance 3. You're like, I bet they're gonna work some weird fucking Smash Brothers shit into this. Is Wolverine gonna be in here? Like, yeah, I'm so with you. That's such a good point. Like, we're all crazy now. Trying not to let Nintendo get one up on us. Yeah. Anyway. You should watch that trailer, Tony, if you haven't yet, just because it's such a good reveal of like,
yeah,
they're talking about, we broke into the Game Awards. Like, what are we gonna steal? Oh, we're stealing an invitation for what? And then he's fucking the 2-finger flip of the card is perfect. Then you just see the Smash logo and you're like, shit. I just texted an option, dude. Thank you, Silver PR, for calling in and tweeting in. We appreciate it. You can be a part of the show in the same way. Some other ways that you can keep up with us: follow us on Twitter at Irrational Pod, on Instagram at Irrational Passions. Like us and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen to the show. Check out Inputs. The Geneviève Saint-Onge Miller show is out there. You should listen to it. Get Acquainted, Podcast Ultimate. The final episode of that is going to be airing soon. And a book club. Go check out that super hot episode. And stay tuned for our Game of the Year stuff, which is going to be really good. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com. It's the place to be. We've reached the end of the show. I didn't prepare a bet for this week. So how about we just resolve last week's bet? Because I
forgot that we had a bet.
Tony and I had a great one-on-one bet, which I was going to do before the show, but I didn't know if something new was going to get uploaded. Last week's bet was Below comes out this week, and I was going to search YouTube. I'm doing it in a private window, so it's not going to be linked to any of my other YouTube searches.
Don't lie, you use those private windows for more than just you.
Oh yeah. all the video websites, and
yeah, like Lively.
I don't know what that website is, so I'm not going to commit to one way or the other. But I was going to search YouTube for Below video game, and pull the first clip of unedited gameplay. Luckily, it is the first video from Rock Paper Shotgun, the first 30 minutes of the game. It's a 27-minute video, which is very good. And I was going to play it until the first kill, which I got some news. So I bet 145, Tony bet 130. Here's the thing I didn't know about below. And to be fair, they cut it out of this video. I have it pulled up right now. There is like a 5-minute opening video of you just slowly zooming, like the camera just slowly zooming in on the player's boat sailing to the island. And it's a very, 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 very long video. They skipped it in this video. That's good. But we are a minute 50 in, and there's not been a single kill yet. He's just kind of running around the island. Let's see. Gets the lantern at the 3-minute mark. That's great. I bet a minute 45. Tony bet a minute 30. I do want to find out when the actual first kill was. Oh, God. Yeah, so there's like a whole... I forgot there's like a whole stairwell scene. He got a spear, too. I didn't even know you could get a spear in this game.
Is that game hard to see?
Because
they're so small. I'm just curious.
I don't think so. I think there are parts of it that are challenging, but the enemies all have like a glow to them, like a red light that glows on them.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty visible, I think. So I would say it's generally fine.
Okay.
Oh, he found like a shortcut that I didn't even know about. I gotta go play. I gotta go play some Polo, you guys. Okay, we're about 8 minutes 46 seconds in, and that is when he went to the first room, which is great. Oh, there's the first kill. Very nice. 9 minutes and I just want to make sure I get there. We go. 9 minutes 13 seconds in. He killed a rat.
Yeah, dude, I knew I lost this shit when I got prices right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tony.
It's all good.
So that brings Team Nadashi up to 46 points. And Team Chug Jug, which is still... I forgot about that name.
Still a good name.
Still a good name at 47 points. Can we think of a bet real quick, or do we want to just...
No, let the Game Awards thing be the final bet, and we'll find out who's the winner from that. As far as like the season. The season,
okay. Then we'll call it. That's bet 36, our last bet. I like that bet too. I gotta do more like video bets. Those are fun. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate all of you very much. Thanks everybody for watching. Your patience with the podcast posting and whatnot. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for opening music of Two Player Co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Go check out Danny Wiesner if you haven't already. He makes really dope music. He made like a Thundercats-esque Destiny 2 theme that was really good. You should go check it out.
That was so long ago.
It was so long ago, but it's really good.
Yeah.
And thank you, Tony and Abishin, for joining me as always. I love you guys.
Hell yeah.
Big hugs all the way around. Thank you, Scott, wherever you are. Stay strong, boy. Stay tuned for all of our Game of the Year stuff. We still have to figure out when we, IPP, are recording our Game of the Year stuff, but it's going to be good. I have a good feeling about it. Some cool games came out this year. But until then, I think so. Let me tell you about Tetris Effect, my Lord and Savior. Until then, I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay rational. We'll talk to you all next week.
Titles?
Titles.
Titles?
Titles.
Titles.
Titless.
So we got Holiday Brew Mountain Dew, Russian Fortnite Posse Scheme.
Ponzi, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't want to.
I like the posse scheme. It's very Red Dead Redemption.
At the bottom of the day, you never seen it coming. And where's the smash symbol?
I like you never seen it coming. That's good. I also like at the bottom of the day.
I think mine is Holiday Brew Mountain Dew.
What do you like, Notion?
At the bottom of the day.
Okay. I respect it. Nabashin, can you say the number? And Tony, can you say the title?
Which title did we pick? Sorry.
You're fine.
At the bottom of the day.
Okay.
It's 406.
This is Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 406.
At the bottom of the day.
It's just as depressing as it just should sound. Thanks everybody for watching, everybody. Have a good night.